something.
Just a little flex.
A little something. Not crazy. A little something. A little something. It was a good time.
You know, on Fox.
Yeah, it was a little time on Fox. Yeah, man. Nothing crazy. It was a good time.
Hey, bro, big time.
Tina wins. Layla Rahimi, you know what I mean?
No, man.
Layla's so dope.
And the pet designer.
Yeah, Layla's so dope, bro. She was literally sitting there, like chopping it up with me, like how I would chop it up with y'all. Like you first off, just talented, knows the game, knows so much stuff, and actually just like was cool people. It was hilarious because she was like, I didn't know who it was because my email got my last name on it. I had no idea who's this Moranzoni guy, and it's you. It's Pat the designer. She was dope.
Like, that's just me. That's that's my moniker. You know.
Yeah, man. Low stage name. Low stage name. We ain't hiding.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't ducking.
Hey, you might be ducking.
I'm proud of being Moranzoni, but. Breeze Nation, what's good? It's your boy Pat the designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, we got Mr. Drew Better. If you knew better, you do better. Say who better?
The squad is
nobody,
missing.
bro.
The squad is missing.
No squad on this episode. No squad. Everybody getting back in it. We getting back in the swing of things. It's the 6 weeks off. Technically, this is when I would have wanted to take my vacation, but it didn't work out that way because
a little early.
I didn't have to pay for the trip. So I mean, take what I can get.
Hey, did you get some Mickey love down there? Mickey and Minnie love?
That sounds weird. But my kids enjoyed the trip.
Hey, okay.
That's all I care about.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters to me. Hey, my kids enjoyed the trip. That's all we're going to say about it. We got a lot to get into on today's episode as the Chicago Bulls have made their head coaching hire. They have gone out and hired Tiago Splitter. Do you remember Stephen A. doing that when the Spurs was on their run? I don't know why when they hired him today. I was like, man, I hope the Bulls get good so I can hear that again. Because I remember Stephen A. just being like, and that brother, Tiago Splitter.
Hey, man, he's from
in the corner.
He had that Popovich knowledge, man. So, so he fit right there. We need you to stand in that corner and shoot. That's it.
Listen. So did Jim Boylan. So hopefully this one works out better. We got to talk about what that hire is going to mean for the team moving forward. And we got to take a look at, play a little shot or no shot today on the Chicago Bears podcast. I want to play that with you here, Drew. We're just still in bits. That's okay. Hey, look, I work for the network. It counts. Play a little shot or no shot here on the Windy City Breeze and get you guys' opinions on it as well. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. What have you been doing with yourself since I've been gone, Drew? You just been twiddling your thumbs?
Twiddling my thumbs, sitting at the house like, are we having a show today?
Yeah, no show.
No show today. We having a show today? No show today. I did go to the White Sox game over the weekend.
Brother,
I was there on Friday.
Hey, I was there on
Friday when they smoked them really good.
You ever notice whenever the White Sox are really cooking and the Cubs are kind of like just coming back there? Although PCA has been dominating. I'm not even going to hate on PCA over the last couple.
He straightened up real quick.
PCA is a 4+. I think he's a 4+ WAR player right now. PCA is cooking right now. Like of all the times JC needs to be making his argument, it's right now. But exactly. I say all that to say. It seems like every time the White Sox cooking and the Cubs are, kind of peeling it up. We don't see JC as much.
We don't.
He started disappearing a little bit more.
He did. He was a no-show, but that's what Cubs fans do.
Yeah, there you go.
They run and hide, but the what's it called? The rate field was jumping.
Oh yeah.
It was packed all 3 days. Second Saturday, we had to take an L, but I was at the game on Friday. Checking them out all weekend. So that was a good time. It was a good time. Took 2 or 3. Then even though I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, I was happy that we split with them.
Yeah.
We could have won, but then that ran out on I think Thursday. So I
mean, listen, you won the series.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it! We're getting used to things being back. And that means let's get into talking a little bit of Bulls basketball here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. I know what to do. Let's jump straight into this here.
Well, Chris, the standard is the standard.
And we're back. Listen, the Bulls go out and they hire Tiago Splitter, a coach who was at the top of my list for a while here. I think that, you got to talk about what this guy could go out there and be for the team right now. You also got to talk about some of the concerns that may come with him. But just looking at the hire overall, Drew, I feel like this is the right guy for where you're at here. When you look at what he did last season with player development, when you look at what he was able to do last season with getting guys who we had kind of accepted. It might not be the guy, right? The Scoot Henderson and the fall off that Scoot Henderson kind of had, or I shouldn't say fall off, the slow start that Scoot Henderson had to start his NBA career. You kind of were like, I don't know if that's going to be that level of guy, right? Donovan Clingan comes in. He's a big body, but he didn't have that big moment. Now all of a sudden you see Donovan Clingan and you're like, oh my God, this guy's able to go out there and hoop. Danny Avdija and how he was able to play this season. I think you can't talk enough about that. I think that this is a really, really good hire for the Chicago Bulls. How do you feel about the hire on the surface right now?
So for right now, I was pretty excited about the hire because you got somebody coming from the Popovich lineage where he played and he coached.
Yep.
And then he left. And what he did with Portland, like you said, he was a tutor to the other young people. They thought Scoot Henderson was going to be a failure. Scoot actually had a rebound year under Tiago and actually learned the NBA game and was actually quite productive. Still needs to work on his jumper, but as far as him understanding the game and actually facilitate being a point guard, I think he did a great job from year 1 to year 2 under Tiago. I'm very happy that we actually got him because I don't know why Portland was able to retain him.
Well,
because Chauncey is still technically suspended.
Well, Drew,
so I'm like, thank you.
For the first time ever, the Chicago Bulls are not the cheapest organization in basketball. From all the reports, Portland basically told them, hey, that was a fun season for you. We got $4 million for you, or you can kick rocks.
Which don't even make sense. That's why I say I don't even know how Portland.
Portland fans are not happy today. Let's say that. Portland fans are looking at this and going, are we the dumb ones here? This is going to be interesting.
You have to, because he, like I said, what he did with that young team, made it to the playoffs with a roster that nobody really thought was going to be that good in the West enough to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you got coming into the Bulls, we have a very similar roster that we're in progress of molding. Hope we get somebody good with a fourth overall pick, 15th
overall pick, 15th pick.
So to get those two players along with Noah Essingame last year, Modest's development, we have a team similar to Portland that we can build upon. And with a guy that previously did that with Portland, I'm all for it.
And I'd say this, right? That's the thing for me that does get me excited, right? Is the system that he brings. It operates not only at the 3-point line, which you still have to operate if you're going to be a big league team, right? But it also operates in that mid range, and that's one area where, to me, Modest has not been able to take advantage. So if you're Josh Giddey, if you're Modest Buzelis right now, the mid range is more open to you. I think that's going to be something that's going to be beneficial for this young team moving forward. The expectation is that you're going to add Caleb Wilson to this team.
That's my dream guy. Besides AJ Dubansky. Caleb is my guy.
AJ Dubansky. You went bang bang Yabansky on me. You have the bang bang Yabansky on us.
Exactly.
But no, like it feels like you're going to get some really, really solid young players in here, and you need a guy that has shown you that he can develop, that has shown you that he has really good X's and O's, and I think Tiago has done both of those things. And so to me, I think you knock this hire out of the park, and that's with guys that I was also high on the list, right? Like, I thought the Bulls did a really good job building this list out. And when you look at a guy that you let pass in Mike Inori, I think Mike Inori is going to be a phenomenal leader. I think he's going to be, he would have been beneficial for the Bulls in the sense of you bring in a guy who is able to manage what you expect to be egos in the room. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing for us to see from Tiago Splitter this year. Remember, Tiago Splitter had that team dropped in his lap because Chauncey Billups was cheating, and it's pretty clear now that Chauncey was cheating with everything that was going on. Like, it is
really bad.
It's insane. Like, he's going to be behind bars for a long, long time. But when you look at the team he had dropped in his lap, right, there's not a lot of egos there because you got vet players that kind of know their role at this point. You've got Danny Avdija, who had shown you something last year. You've got Donovan Clingan, who showed you a little bit. Scoot Henderson wanted a bounce back, right? Like, there were all these players that you looked at and you were like, okay, this is just a young team trying to figure it out. While that is going to be the situation the Bulls are in, Caleb Wilson talking cash money-ish right now.
Hey, that too.
Taylor Wilson is saying, I'm going to change the thought process of the franchise when I get there. I'm going to change the mindset in the building when I get there. But there's also a young player in Buzelis who's already on this team that says, well, I've taken a massive step and I got to go from 16 to at least 22 to 25 points per game next season. So it's going to be a managing of the egos. That's the part that I want to see. Okay, does Tiago Splitter have this in his arsenal, as well as all of the X's and O's and things like that? Because Jim Boylan could call X's and O's. He just sucked at being a person.
But the benefit of that with Tiago is he is from that Popovich tree. So you saw what happened with
Jim.
I know, but it was a little bit different. He's a little younger.
He's a lot younger. He's a lot younger.
So he's able to sponge up more of the personality-wise, and how Pop was able to. Pop still hangs out with these little 20-some-year-old guys now, who Wemby came over off the trip when they was losing to OKC. He came down, was able to relate to Wemby.
Yeah.
Wemby's 21?
22.
21, 22?
Yeah.
So Tiago having that same, coming from that same guy, you don't think Pop is going to be able to help him out if he comes into a little bit of an issue with egos and trying to mesh the young players with some of the veterans that have been on this team before? I think that Pop is going to be able to help him out if he's a little bit deficient. So having that person in your back pocket, to me, makes a huge difference when it comes to relating and being a manager of egos.
I don't know if Pop's that guy, though.
Pop is that guy.
Because
he did it this year.
Well, no, I'm trying to think, but he did it on a team that he's still associated with, though. Trying to remember who the coach was. I think it was Mike Budenholzer, because also from the Pop tree. I think he's the one who did it. He called Pop to say, how do you handle the pressure going into these situations? How do you, how do I figure this out? What did you do? And Pop went, you want to know what I did? Figure it out. And he hung up the phone on him.
See,
So I don't think Pop's the guy I think if you're on the Spurs, right? If Mitch Johnson needs advice from Pop wants the Spurs to win a championship. He's the, as he says, the El Jefe in that building. I don't think that Tiago Splitter can pick up the phone and be like, yo, Pop, what are the answers? Now, do I think that Pop is always going to hang up the phone on him? No, I think that there's some guidance that can come in some form. But after that, I was like, oh, Pop let Muggs kind of fend for themselves out there and figure it out on your own.
I hear you, but I don't know. I've never heard that from anybody associated with him, that he wasn't a listening ear. But if that's the case, yeah, that kind of takes my excitement down a notch or two, because I always being working, I always like the aspect of being able, to bounce ideas off somebody that's been in that situation before. But if he can't, then I'm like, wow.
Well, and to me, that's where the staff comes in. That's where, if you're the Bulls right now, Tiago Splitter shouldn't be the final big hire that you make, right? You can go out there. I love how the Spurs do it. Steve Kerr has, at one point in time, had, I believe, 5 former head coaches on his coaching staff at a time, right? Those are the guys that have been in these situations. Those are the guys that have been in these big moments where you start to say, okay, well, what did you do in this moment, right? Steve Kerr had, I believe, Mike Brown on his staff for the first championship run.
He did, but that's what I'm thinking. But that's what I'm saying about Pop, because I remember Steve Kerr in his first championship run, Pop was still giving him advice. Like, he asked Pop certain things, but Spurs was out of the playoffs. So maybe that's the difference.
It might also be, Mike Budenholzer was never a player for Pop, too. Tiago Splitter was a player for Pop. Steve Kerr was a player for Pop. So maybe there's a different understanding there. Maybe there's a different relationship there when it's still kind of like player-coach versus Mike Budenholzer, who was just, he was on the coaching staff, and he was somebody that came up through the game and learned that way. But
you know what's most important for me?
What?
That now the Bulls are following the cue from all the other Chicago sports teams. The White Sox got the front office in order, got the manager in order, and now look at us growing right now. The Bears got the office in order, got the manager in order. Look, we're growing. Now the Bulls got the office in order. We got a potential of a good manager. They're just fulfilling the Chicago sports trend where now we're all starting to understand finally that you got to get front office, head coach, player, and then we can actually win and build the organization.
Well, and the one thing that I love that Bryson Graham has done, right? Like Tiago Splitter is here. What is this going to be? 8 days ahead of the draft, I think it is. When is the draft?
Draft is Thursday.
Draft is next Thursday, right?
Next Tuesday. It's either Tuesday or Thursday. I think it's next Tuesday.
Either way,
I think it's next Tuesday.
Tiago Splitter's not a part of the process of figuring out this team. And what I love about it is that Bryson Graham, the first move that he went out and made was he went out and hired AC Law, and he went out and hired oh boy, that's from whose name is escaping me right now, from the Orlando Magic.
Who
are draft savants, right?
Yes,
who are great talent evaluators because
that guy from Orlando, he drafts a mean squad. They put it together.
Get the right coach.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you end up with the Orlando situation isn't because they don't have talent.
No,
the Orlando situation is because you had James.
You had two bad head coaches.
Yeah, you had some squalor out there.
Yeah.
At the head coaching position. So like, I think that this is a situation where you can see early on Bryson Graham is saying, "I'm going to build the team. You're going to coach the team," and I don't hate that. I think that's a good conversation for you to be in right now. Because the draft is 8 days away. And the option is that, like, for everybody that's sitting there going, well, what if we go with this guy? Or what if the coach wants the player that's going to fit his scheme? I hate to tell you that. We got the top 4 pick.
But that's what
you're getting who you get.
But that's what I like about
whichever of the 4 is left, that's who you getting.
I know, but that's what I like about that Spurs lineage is that they know how to take any kind of player, develop them, and put them in a situation to succeed. Because if you look at that Portland team, you had Scoot that was horrible, talking about bust.
Yeah,
his rookie year.
I was calling him Poot Henderson.
You did.
Yeah, he was garbage.
And then this year, he stepped up so much that he became, oh yeah, we can see this development. We can see Tiago has put him in a position to succeed. And when you're doing that with somebody that was literally labeled a bust less than 12 months before that, with somebody like Modest, somebody like Giddey that have talent and shown consistent flashes, they just need to make the next step to stardom. I think he can do that.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I think that's the conversation that I love about having Tiago Splitter in here is that he didn't do anything magical. He just put the ball in the right person's hand, and he gave them the guidance that they needed to have around them. And I think that we saw Bryson Graham do that as well, right? Drew Holiday in Portland is just as massive as a Danny Avdija is from the young player perspective, right? And I think that that's the part that I love about Bryson Graham. The last thing that we saw Bryson Graham do in Atlanta before he gets out of there is he trades away Trae Young. He brings back CJ McCollum, who's a great veteran presence. That Atlanta team wasn't supposed to make the playoffs. I think they were 10th in the Eastern Conference. And then you bring in CJ, you start putting the ball in some of your young players' hands, and you put your team now in a position where it is the young guys that are the catalyst, but it's also the older guys who have navigated these streets before. Those are the NBA teams we grew up with. You always had that oldest dirt veteran that was on a team. Who was the one? Why am I blanking on his name? He was in the league forever with the Bulls. He was on the Bulls.
About Jack?
No. This was the Derrick Rose Bulls, and literally he would come in and play, but I mean he was just a older player that was a veteran player. No, he was a guard, or maybe more of a forward. But like that kind of team, a balanced team, I like to call it, is one that is able to turn things around a lot quicker than just going, hey, young guys, figure out how to win, and the coach is going to know everything.
So this is similar to having somebody like a Udonis Haslem on the team.
Yes.
So that person that knows, has been through the fire, that knows how to be a veteran. Because a lot of the issues, a lot of these young teams, you talking about Kurt Thomas?
Kurt Thomas was one name. Yeah. That's not the name that I was going with, but Thomas definitely was a name that you got to throw in there. You had Luol Deng, who already was in the game a long time at that point. TJ Watson. Anyway, go ahead.
Going back. So you got to have this veteran presence on your team because as young players, they have been coddled a lot in AAU, and they're one and done year of college. So you need to have somebody, a veteran presence on the team, to be able to tell these young guys how to win. Lindsey Hunter was who I was thinking of. The Detroit Pistons
Lindsey
guy.
Hunter had been in the league, I think, at that point in like 15 years already, bro.
Lindsey came in and he, like you said.
No, legitimately, 16 years. It says here a 16-year vet at that point and was on teams for like 5 years past that.
I know, because he's that calming veteran presence that allows you to understand the NBA game, to let it slow down a little bit, to say, hey, Derek, this is what you need to do in this situation. This is what you need to do in that situation. So definitely you want a mixture of, excuse me, young talent with veteran presence that's not trying to step on any toes, not trying to get their accolades still, but just there to help the coaching staff teach some of the young guys.
Yes. And that's what I love, that it feels like they're going to end up building out here, because realistically, right, like your longest tenure player on the Bulls right now is Patrick Williams. Your oldest vet on the team, I believe is something fell hard in the corner. Nobody screamed, so I'm gonna assume it wasn't a kid. Is it Zach Collins? Zach Collins might be your oldest vet in the league. Maybe Jalen. Well, no, Jalen Smith, same year as P. Will.
No, 30. I think Zach is 31.
I don't even think Zach Collins is that old.
No, Zach's 31. I think Zach is 31. He's in the early 30s.
My point is, your oldest vet is a dude that still has a lot of basketball in front of him.
Correct.
That's not a great spot. Zach Collins has been in the league. Yeah, Zach Collins has been in the league since 2017. Also, he's dang near the same. I think he's the same draft as P. Will as well. No, that's before P. Will. So yeah, that's your oldest vet on the team. Like, Zach Collins ain't seen no great basketball.
No,
and so it's
so he needs
having guys on the team that not only are vets, but that also can learn. The Bulls haven't had vets in how long? Like DeMar DeRozan, of course, was a vet when he was here. But realistically, like Zach LaVine, young player who had been in the league for a long time, but when he was on this team, he was 26 years old.
The last time we had vets on our team was when before we got on the show, we were talking about the Bulls team of like 2015, when we had D Wade, Rondo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the last couple teams where we had a solid veteran that knew how to win, that was on winning teams, that was trying to bring that to the Bulls. You know, it's been many, many years since we had that, because we had, like you said, Zach, and we had DeMar, but we had those two, and we were trying to, you know, they had their own agenda compared to some of the younger guys.
It was a different world with those vets as well.
Correct. So to me, that
Shay, right? We had Vooch too, but like,
but Vooch
ain't seen nothing.
Right, Vooch was coming from Orlando, perennial losers.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like CJ McCollum has seen playoff success with Portland.
Many years of him and Dame.
You know what I mean?
So he saw winning on the highest level. He never won the championship, but he went into the second, third round conference finals with Portland. So he, like you say, he saw how the winning organization and how to put the winning basketball on the floor.
And I think the thing that you want in this situation for the Bulls to be able to build out is a vet that comes in and knows his role, right? Like, you're already going to have this trying to figure out who's the one, who's the two on the team between the number 4 overall pick this season, because they're all really talented. You would expect that Caleb Wilson probably comes on the floor and says, give me the ball and let me show you why you took me at the 4th overall pick. But you've also got Miles Buzelis already in the building, who's probably like, hey, give me the ball, because I had 16 points per game last year. I can get this thing up to 25. You know what I mean? You want a guy who's going to be able to come in and know that role, that also knows how to keep those egos in line as well. And I'm not saying this is going to be a massive problem. It's just the reality of what you're going to deal with this year. You dealt with it, and the reality of it is, as sad as it is to say, if you feel like you're taking somebody at number 4 that's not eventually going to be the face of your franchise, then you're taking the wrong person at number 4. Like, that's the reality of this. And so to me, it kind of feels like, remember when Cleveland said, they weren't moving out the way because LeBron was coming, and the organization was like, okay, well, now you play in Utah. And it was Carlos Boozer, and like it was they were horrible, but like it was a lot of solid pieces on the team. It was like, you go to Utah, you go down to Atlanta. You go down here, and they got rid of a lot of them because they were like, y'all are in the way because y'all don't know what role y'all want to play. But LeBron is coming here to be the face of this thing. I feel like that's going to be a conversation with some of this.
It could be, but I'm looking at it like, do you want to win? Because if you look at the New York Knicks, you look at OKC, they have a bunch of top quality players, and they all be like, put their ego to the side to say the goal is to get to the chip. So to me, do you want to make, do you, as they say, as a reference from Training Day, you want to go home? I say, right, you want to go home? Right, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, you want to win the championship? Then you put that ego to the side, whether you know where you for, or Modest, or Caleb, or Giddy. We need to form like Voltron. We need to come in like this, my old self showing. You need to come in like this so we can all win.
And if they do, this team could be dangerous quick.
We say. So V-Dog says, yo, Drew, just want to play devil's advocate. Do you think the front office hires under BG
Bryce and Graham
can also be a negative? Yes, they bring development, but they also played in college together. It could be detrimental as well. I don't think so, because
if I played with you and have a relationship with you, that's not a negative.
It isn't. And also they said that they're not yes men. They all have, their own individual opinion. Just like on our show, when we got the whole squad in the building, all of us have our individual opinions, and we all bring a different perspective. Like I bring the elder perspective to certain things. I've been watching the game for many, many years. And then you got the fresh young group that sees the new basketball in a different line. So I think that him having his boys here does work, because look at what happened in New York with who's the GM in New York now? Because he brought in a couple of his guys, the Asian dude, Leon Rose. Leon Rose brought some of his people he used to manage in. He used to bring some of his people used to manage in, and look at them. They won the chip. Yeah. So friendship and relationship is strong, when it comes to building a team.
I would be concerned about it if we didn't see them have success in finding talent where they were at, right? AC Law, in the role that he was in, developing and in some sense finding some of the players that are out there was good. And he was a part of a OKC team that won the championship, right? When you look at the talent in Orlando, nobody thinks the talent's the problem in Orlando. They think that the coaching was the problem in Orlando. There's plenty of talent on that team. Like they had a lot of talent. At that team, top to bottom, there's a ton of talent on that team. And so, like, I think that if we were looking at them and they were coming from like
Washington,
Utah,
and
even Utah has talent, but probably Washington would be the name, right? Yeah. If you would just say, "Oh, we got him from Washington," it was like, "Oh, it's his boy." Right. I would feel more like that's nepotism, or that's just trying to get my guy to be working with me to feel comfortable. I don't think that that's a conversation that we're having right now with where this team is at, front office wise, and what they built out.
100%.
Now, I will say this though, and because we've talked glowingly about it, I love this. By the way, you were talking about the elder perspective. As the old guy in the room, can we agree that Jalen Brunson's the greatest Knick of all time?
No.
Who you got over Brunson,
bro? Reed got 2 chips, and he scored almost as many points per game as Brunson, so he's number 2.
He's got 2 rings with the Knicks?
Yes. Buzz Reed got 2 rings with the Knicks. 70 and 73, or 71 and 74.
Yes. No, it's definitely 73.
So he's right. So it's 71. Is he the 70 and 73?
He was a dog.
He was a beast.
I can't say that he wasn't.
So he's won.
Has he got 2 rings?
He's got 2 rings. So you can't be number 1 until you match.
Willis Reed, dang, he got an MVP too.
Exactly. So
Rookie of the Year, of course.
Willis Reed was a beast, bro. People be sleeping on these 70 teams.
Well,
man.
he got hurt because he got injured and wasn't able to play no more.
Bro, he's Brunson is number 2. He surpassed Patrick Ewing now because he brought a championship.
I'm more willing to have that conversation than not, but I
really? 1 championship?
The first one in 50 years.
Willis Reed was the first one in forever himself.
Yeah, he was.
He won the first one, 70, 73. So he was number 1.
Willis Reed rings. Why is not showing me his ring? He got 2 NBA championships, 70 and 73.
Right, I told you, right? It was a couple years apart, but
he won against the Lakers in 1970, and that's a good Lakers team. That's versus Jerry West, who I feel about him.
Hey,
he won against the Lakers again in '73.
So, like I said, bro, Jalen Brunson, right? That's what I say.
That's a conversation.
Willis Reed is one. Jalen is two.
That's a conversation
because he brought the chip after 50-something years. But and he to me he did. He really took off on that game 5. Because his first couple games, he shot horribly.
You talking about Brunson?
Brunson, yeah. So I'm not sure if, without OG, none of this happens.
Oh, listen, I was saying it on Twitch because we were live for all the games on Twitch. By the way, we finna get some more stuff cracking on Twitch as well with some gaming and things like that. But we about to start our freaking 2K teams too. And I think we're gonna do it with the 82-0.
Oh,
I build the 82-0 and then put them teams in there and figure out how to play a tournament. It's gonna be fun. Anyway, Jalen, I was making a case that Jalen Brunson was phenomenal in the playoffs, but the Knicks don't have a championship without OG.
Without OG,
and
correct.
When you can say one team doesn't have a championship without this guy, there's a conversation to say he should have been the MVP. Now, it finishes with Brunson putting up 45 in what I would call a Jordan-like performance.
Oh, it was.
Listen, that was a Jordan-like performance.
It was.
He literally was like, it doesn't matter what you do. Y'all can knock me down. Y'all can do whatever. I'm dropping the ball in. But I truly think that this is going to be one of those tough finals MVP conversations because I don't think they win it without OG.
Oh, of course they don't win it without OG. And they don't even get there without Cat playing the way he was playing up until against Wemby.
Yeah, Cat was doing great defensively until the final 2 games. And
it was in foul trouble. But then the refs also started calling weird games. I'm not even gonna lie. They brought
Scott Foster in to extend it, and Scott Foster was like, "Look, you blow a lead again, I can't help you, brother. We wrapping this thing up."
hey, exactly. But Brunson is not the greatest Knick, but he's definitely, if he wins again, he'll definitely then be in that conversation. But I still. What makes him better than Willis? Because he ain't
Brunson.
He's only been a Knick for 4 years now. Brunson
that feels right.
Is it 3 to 4 years?
That feels right.
So
somebody typed. I typed in Jalen Brunson. It said, "Did you mean Captain Clutch Jalen Brunson?"
Hey,
that's actually hilarious.
He is clutch.
29 years old. He's been with the Knicks 4 years. He's averaged 28, 26 points per game. He shot the ball almost 40+% from 3 the entire time. I think the fact that he's doing it at what I can tell you is pure cap, 6'2". He's not 6'2".
He's 6'2". He's 6'1". He's 6'1" in best.
Brother.
It's 6'1". I say 6'1".
He might be
best.
6.
It's 6'1".
He might be 6. Willis Reed was 6'10".
But Willis Reed also, this is when everybody played down low.
I'm surprised you didn't go Clyde Frazier.
No, it's Willis. It's Willis Reed. No, it's Willis Reed. Hey, I'm a basketball realist. I'm not just going to throw the fluff out there. He is the greatest Knick.
All right. I'm not mad at it. Hey, look, it's a good. I can't argue. Like, look, they won 2 rings, and the Knicks don't win rings, so it's literally those players and Brunson in there.
Right, exactly. And it's like this. Like you look at it like that too. 6'10", he was playing against, Kareem. He's playing against Moses.
Yeah.
He was playing against a lot of down low presence, and he was still putting up, quality points. But don't get me wrong, Brunson is amazing because no one thought, even Leon Rose and James Dolan, nobody thought that he was going to be this good.
No.
They thought he was going to be solid, but nobody thought he was going to be this good.
And here's the reality. If you're in a conversation of, the 3rd greatest of a team that's been around since the 1950s, you're doing something right. You jumped over a lot of people to get to that
point. Because you jumped over, Patrick Ewing, which was Mr. Knick.
Yeah.
He 10+ years, averaging 2010,
It's actually shocking. That's crazy that the Knicks won the NBA Finals. And then I went upstairs, right, and it was storming that night, and lightning struck right in front of my house immediately. I thought God called GG's. I thought God said, I can't do it no more. The Knicks winning championships, we got to get it out of here. I let y'all have one with the Cubs. We not doing the Knicks.
Hey,
I got nervous. I got nervous when I went downstairs. Went upstairs after that.
Bro, you see how they toe up New York? Wait till the freaking
let Chicago.
No, forget Chicago. Wait till, if the Cowboys ever win something, bro, the United States is gonna shut down.
Hey, brother, if the Bears win a Super Bowl,
it's going down, bro.
They are going to surf the Series Tower in Lake Michigan.
It's going down.
The Series Tower. I'm a real Chicago. The Sears Tower.
Right.
I call it the Series Tower. They're going to surf the Sears Tower on waves of Lake Michigan straight to Detroit just to talk trash on the other side. Straight to Don Burr's face.
Man, 85 now? Oh, yeah. We are definitely
that's going to be disgusting if we win. That's why I'm not sitting here now. Look, all the physical stuff, all of the y'all sitting here, beating up Spurs fans stuff. Like, I'm nothing on that.
No, that was just a little bit. That was bro. Did you see the clip?
That's too much.
Did you see the clip of the big dude?
The big dude,
man.
Hey, you know what I love? Somebody said I looked at his Instagram. He not even a Spurs fan. He just in it for the love of the game. He was just out there to fight. I was like, respect. Like sometimes I miss them days where you was just out there to fight. Hey man, let's talk about this before we get into the football stuff. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I know we've been a little sporadic with the posting on the breeze here because of my vacation time and things like that. We back, so stay tapped in with everything that we have coming here. One of my concerns about Tiago Splitter, and I have not been. I've talked about this a ton throughout my time on Locked On and things like this since the coaching search has come up. While I'm excited for everything that he brings and I'm excited about the season he just had, it was what did Portland have? 42-win season, I believe it was.
It was over 500.
It was an
tough West, and they made the playoffs.
It was where is it at? It was a 42-40 season. They were 4th out of 5th in a division, which doesn't really matter anymore. They had a 512 win percentage. They had really good pace, some of the best pace in the Western Conference, which I think is going to help. Offensive rating was 114.4. Defensive rating was 114.7. You got to the playoffs in the first round, and realistically, you got roundhouse kicked. Are we excited about Vinny Del Negro?
I think that's a little too much because
Vinny was a good coach. Vinny finished as an above 500 coach.
No, but if you look at it this way, you had the turmoil with Chauncey.
Yep.
And then you had a developing roster. And in the tough West.
Yep.
The West is tough 1 through 12.
Yeah. And you were a nice seed.
I think that's a great season.
I'm not taking away from it. I'm just saying, there's a lot of excitement around Tiago's name because of what he could be, which I think is the right, like, this is his first opportunity to really be the head coach. And that's what he did with a Portland team that the year before won, where is it at? Won 36 games. So they were getting it together, but they still weren't there. 2 years before that, 21 games, right? Was that Tiago just the natural progression of things, or was that actually Tiago being the difference maker? That's the part that I'm waiting to see here. And that's really the only concern that I have around his name, right? Are we excited about about a coach who is maybe the bridge guy? Which, by the way, if he's the bridge guy, think about it with Vinny Del Negro. This is also the good part, and I brought this up on Locked On Bulls today. If he is the bridge guy, Vinny Del Negro became the bridge guy because they realized Derrick Rose was so good, we need a better coach. That was the reason that he became the bridge guy. It wasn't because Vinny was a bad coach. He also choked out John Paxson, or got choked out by John Paxson. We don't actually have details on who won that fight, but Paxton don't seem like somebody that lose very often outside of when he's running a team. But if Tiago's the bridge guy, I also think that it means a lot in the conversation of you probably have a player who outplayed what Tiago Splitter can bring to the team, which means your top 4 pick and/or Modest Buzelis or both panned out in a major way, and you're going, we need somebody better to get them over the hump.
That would be a gut punch. He gets that, but you know what? I'll take this and hate to say this, right? I'll use this like the Knicks. what's the name? What was the coach? Last year coach.
Tom Thibodeau
Maximized his coaching.
Yep.
And they went with Mike Brown that took him over. So if I used Tiago to get me to the conference finals or the conference or the second round, we're not in the play-in, and we peak there for a few years, and we go get a championship type Steve Kerr head coach, I'd be fine with that. As long as my talent has been developed in his time there, then I'm okay with him being a bridge coach.
Yeah. And look, I hope that he's not. I hope he's the answer. I hope he's the guy that leads us to the promised land for the next 10 years, and the Bulls are holding up, 6 NBA championships in that time. But the reality is you can give him all the talent in the world, and there may be a limit to it. Like you said with Tom Thibodeau. Literally, that is Thibs' ceiling. The Eastern Conference Finals, the Western Conference Finals. Well, no, just the Eastern Conference Finals. That has been his ceiling. That has been his bugaboo throughout the NBA. Mike Brown been to a finals. He knew what it took to get to a finals. He knew the kind of staff he needed to get to a finals. And I think that if Tiago Splitter also has the mindset that Bryson Graham has, and I love this comment when he said, if I'm the smartest dude in the room, we're in trouble.
Exactly.
That means that you've got a really good coaching staff coming probably along with Tiago Splitter, which will be a difference maker. And by the way, I'll tell you what, if he wants to get back into coaching, I don't know if he'd ever take a bench position, but there's a lot of head coaches that have. I'd love Tibbs on the bench. I love Tibbs on the bench because his defense is going to be ridiculous.
I was about to say his defense is going to be.
It's going to be suffocating defense. I love Tibbs on the bench. And it's somebody to look like you talk about. Of course, it's nice to have the championship guys, the guys that are going to go out there and have won rings and you can fall back on what you do in this championship moment. But it's also nice to have the guys who made the mistakes that didn't get there. And you go, what did you do in this moment that didn't get you a ring? What did you do in this moment that didn't put you over the top? So
correct.
We'll see what ends up happening. I want to talk a little bit of Bears before we get out of here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Dan Tanner with the super chat said, what up, fellas? Salute to the best sports podcast on YouTube. # Breeze Nation. Appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you.
Baki with the comment here that, of course, pulls at the heartstrings. Said, not going to lie, Stacey would have loved been hyped for the Tiago Splitter hire 100%.
He definitely would have.
It would have been one where the broadcast would have been ridiculous. He'd have started the season doing a Tiago Splitter is in the building. Like,
hey, much as we love you, bro. When that happened, I was like, "Is Pat Gober? Is he there now?" I'm like, "Is he over there now?"
I'll be honest with you. I would never turn down a challenge, but.
I'm like, do we lose
to be the dude
CSN?
to be the guy that takes over after Stacey King is a nightmare.
Bro.
I would love the challenge of it, but I'm very content building up this Twitch and growing on Twitch and doing games like that because I mean the reality of the whole situation is like, yeah, I'm excited. I would be, see red till I die and all of that. But man, like taking over after Stacey King is you better be
I got
the greatest of all time.
I got faith. I know Waka Waka. I got faith in my guy.
I'll take a little Waka Waka. That would be. They're not even calling me. Let's say that. One thing that I know, they're not putting in a call to me.
Hey, don't knock that. Don't put that in the atmosphere. Put that. They're gonna call.
Hey, if you want to call. Hit my line, baby. I'm always available. I'm always available. Hey, man, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. All right, we did a shot or no shot today on need some help. I'll look at that later. We did a shot or no shot on I thought I seen something that was very similar to the conversation we were having. I was like, hold on, is that happening right now? Did it just happen? I got to log off. On the Chicago Bears podcast today. We were talking about, some of the narratives and things that happened at camp and what that could mean for this upcoming Bears season. So I'm still in the game that they play on Cap and J Hood, which I stole it on the podcast today. We play a little shot or no shot.
Okay.
Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Shot or no shot? based off of what we saw with Caleb Williams in this offense early on, showing continuity and showing that it is clicking early and often, the Chicago Bears will have a top 5 offense again this season.
Oh, that's definitely yes. That's a yes. Shot, yeah. They definitely got a shot at that because we got more offense coming in. We got another year under Ben Johnson, so now we're just perfecting those issues that perfecting those issues that we had last year. That we're getting better at the regular stuff to add those wrinkles that he had with his couple years after he had been there in Detroit. Where now they throwing everything and at you right now in the first year, so now you're putting a step up on number 2. I definitely think it's a shot for us to have a top 5 offense. Because this I won't call him Zay Flowers, but not what's the
Xavier Thomas.
Xavier Thomas, bro. They say he is looking phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
phenomenal out there.
And you know what it is, right? Like you got the guy who isn't just speed. Right, he's a route runner. He's somebody who can create separation. He's not just the speed guy that goes out there and is 4.2, which doesn't matter at the NFL level. I said shot as well in this situation because I feel like if you're the Chicago Bears who had a top 5 offense last season, what happens when you incorporate consistent first quarters?
Oh,
what happens when you incorporate consistency in the first half? What happens when you incorporate an offense that knows where it's supposed to be, knows how the route is supposed to be run, and it's just about Caleb Williams, who has the talent to do so, getting the football to you in the right spot within the offense, which I love how Caleb said it last year, or said it this year at camp about last year. He said it was like I was drowning the entire season trying to get everything with the offense. Now I'm swimming. I'm keeping my head above water. It's not to say that he has it fully figured out, but you go from drowning to floating. That's a big difference. That's the difference between dying and being alive. And I think that's kind of what I look forward to, because this was the first camp since I've been covering the Bears up close. This was the first camp since I've been covering the Bears in totality, where I didn't have to try and fit a square peg into a round hole to make me feel better about what we were seeing on the field.
That, and plus he made a comment to his wide receivers this year in minicamp that says, this is where I'm going to throw the ball because it's where the ball should be going. You be in that specific spot because the ball will be there. Last year, I felt that he was, like you said, drowning, so he was trying to make a lot of stuff happen. He was, Captain Comeback. He was clutch in the fourth quarter. But if we can, have a solid start throughout the whole game, the offense is going to be limitless. Yeah.
No, listen, I think this offense is going to be incredibly dangerous. I'm not worried about that at all. Now, here is something that I am worried about, but I think y'all have been more optimistic than me. We've heard about Montez Sweat creating a ton of pressure. We've heard about them being able to get off with a snap a little bit earlier. I get it. It's not in full-on pads just yet, but it seems like you're starting off the season right. And I think the part that we don't have a conversation about for defensive guys as much as offensive guys is they got to understand the defense too. That was a brand new defense for Montez Sweat last year in a 10-sack season. That was a brand new defense for everybody last year. Shot or no shot, the Bears defensive line this year will be better than expected with what we're hearing early on in camp.
Better? They better than last year?
Better than last year. Better than we're expecting them to be.
Yes, shot. I'll say they'll be better than expected because we're expected to be worse than last year. So I think we're going to be better than expected because because we didn't make the splash play in the offseason or in the draft. There's I'm having a stroke right now.
Procrastination?
No. When the people that's making picks, there's a word for them begin with a P. I can't even think of it right now. But the prognicators, and forget it.
Don't worry about it.
I'm stroke. But the individuals that are looking at the team in totality saying this is we did make these moves that the Bears are going to be in the lower third on the defensive line. And I think that we're going to be a little bit better than that. I think we're going to be mid. I think we're going to be equal to what we were last year as far as the defensive line. Hopefully with health, we're a little bit better. But I think we're going to be better than expected because we're expected to be garbage.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm no shot on this.
No shot?
I'm no shot on this. And it's not to disrespect any of the names there, but when you hear them talk about Shamar Turner right now, they don't sound like they're talking about a player that they're expecting to be healthy. When you hear them talk, as much as I love Austin Booker, and you know I'm a big fan of his, the reality is Austin Booker is probably like a Chase Young or a Yannick Ngakoue, Chase Young post-injury, a Yannick Ngakoue type of player where good pass rusher, doesn't create a ton of pressure, and isn't a 3-down on the field player, right? He's gonna be a passing down kind of player. That gets you sacks. That doesn't get you pressure. Neville Gallimore doesn't change anything on the interior for me outside of the run game, which I think is going to be better this year. But I mean, you were squalor last year, so better than sucking is what, trash?
But yeah, yeah.
But I don't think. Here's the thing. I don't think that it makes a. I don't think we'll talk about the defensive line as difference makers this year, and so for me, that is a no shot. I think we'll talk about how good this DB room is. I think we'll talk about how good the linebackers can be. I think we'll just say if the defensive line can try to do anything in this game, then we will be in a much better position here. But I also don't think that means that the Bears are going to be a god-awful football team this season. I think that you're able to overcome some of the deficiencies that you have there, and you're just going to be more offensive than you are defensive.
So I look at this, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. If you look at New Orleans defense,
prognosticators, was that the word you were looking for there?
Correct, because
prognosticators.
Yeah, because those are the ones that make assumptions and say this, that, and the other. I just couldn't think of it. I have a stroke.
Shout out to Indoritz, I think. Yeah. Indioritz.
Well, if you go back and look at New Orleans defenses, they created. They had a bunch of guys that was between 5 to 7 sack guys.
They also had Cam Jordan.
They had Cam Jordan, but even he wasn't a 15, 18 sack guy. He was around 12.
Yeah. So that's a lot of sacks, though.
Montez had 10. So if you can get that, well, my point is, if you can get that same kind of pressure on this Bears line with a Montez getting his 10 sacks, maybe even 12 now. You get our other guy who you just mentioned,
Shamar Turner, Austin Booker.
Right. Shamar Turner, you can get him into the 5 to 6, sack guy with pressure. You got Austin Booker bumping him up, I think, with more playing time, and now he getting a little bit accustomed to the defense. He can be a 7 sack guy. He can be that Alex Brown. So where you getting constant pressure and you get 7 sacks. Yeah. And then it just becomes like the Seattle type defense where everybody, like a Seattle defense last year, everybody had 7 sacks or less. No one did the Miles Garrett 22 sacks. Right. No one did, old boy that used to play for the Giants, 21. Nobody did TJ Watt.
Michael Strahan.
Right, Strahan or TJ Watt, where you get 20 plus sacks.
Yeah.
If everybody does their job and get between 5 to 7 sacks and create pressure, then our defensive line will be better than expected. And that's what I'm thinking. So I agree with you. I'm not saying they're gonna be. I'm not saying they're gonna be top 10. I'm not saying they're gonna be top 10, but they're definitely gonna be better because we expect it to be really garbage.
Yeah, look, I expect them to be around probably the 25th to 29th best defensive line in football.
Well, I expect them to be around 18.
I still kind of think they're going to be the 25th to 29th best defensive line in football.
I think they're going to be 15 to 18. 15 to 18 gets us into the Super Bowl to me. Yeah. With the kind of offense we expect.
15. You're talking about being a Super Bowl team because of the offense that you have. And the one thing that we'll say, another shot or no shot, that I have on here, will the Bears replicate their turnover luck? If Jalen Johnson is back this year, I actually think that's a no shot. When you talk about what we saw last season, there was 35 or 38 turnovers from the Bears last season. If they get 25 and the offense is able to capitalize on those more, that's just not the same, if not more impactful, because we weren't able to capitalize on every one of the turnovers that we had last season. In fact, we had a pretty terrible percentage for most of the season capitalizing on the turnovers. And so, like, to me, I think if you see this Bears defense go out there and replicate a 25 turnover season and it's not great pressure, you'll see an offense that can take those, 25 turnovers and say, oh, well, with this, we can blow you out of the water now because we know what the playbook is. We know how this play is supposed to run. We're going to score touchdowns on these plays, not field goals, or we're not going to end up giving you the ball back without capitalizing on.
So let me ask you a question. We led the league in turnovers last year.
Yep.
All of those guys are gone.
Yep.
Why don't you think our new guys could get close to that? Because we got two new ball hawks and a returning person that's going to be able to, if he stays healthy, be able to shut down one side of the field.
I think you had Jalen Johnson's not an interception corner. He's got interceptions in the training camp, but he's not, right? Like, Jalen Johnson eliminates the side of the field.
Right, it's shutdown corner.
He's a shutdown corner. So if Jalen Johnson is back to who he is, he's not taking the football away because you're taking away that side of the field. Nashawn Wright was a ball hawk. Nashawn Wright knew, and he told me this in the locker room like week 2. He was like, if we get him in 3rd and 9, I know where they're going. And that makes me have the advantage. Well, number one, I don't think the Bears are going to be in a lot of 3rd and 9 situations this year because I don't have a lot of belief in the defensive line. But 2, it's not to say you're not going to have a lot of turnovers. Like, if the Bears are top 10 in turnovers, I think is impressive. I think we've only seen it once in our life, and at least in my lifetime, where a team was able to replicate that many turnovers in back-to-back seasons. Like, it's just something where the law of averages don't always fall your way. The Bears were incredibly lucky early in the season with the ball falling their way. At the end of the season, they weren't as lucky. We had a football on the field in was it the final Packers game or was it the playoff game? Where Javon Dexter should have gotten a fumble that was right in front of him, and he just didn't get it.
He did. He right.
Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it don't.
It doesn't. But my pushback on that is that you got a whole new defense, and defensive safeties who are ball hawks. That if you got one side shut down with Jalen being back to his shutdown corner self, that allows you to put your linebackers underneath. So they have to throw over. Yeah. And that's when your safeties now you can double team out of the other side of the field.
Sure.
Because even Stevenson, he's a bonehead. Stevenson does, create some turnovers. You had we picked up a corner.
Malik Muhammad, we got in the draft. I mean,
we picked somebody. So
Dylan Thieneman, who you picked up early in the first round. He looking good.
He looking good. And he can read. He can read the quarterback.
And he reads it like a corner.
So my point is saying that is that we might not lead the league, but if we're back to top 10, that's a win for me.
Yeah.
As far as winning the turnover battle. So for me, that's a shot. I don't say we're not going to exactly replicate it, but if we are, top 10 in turnovers again, that's a win. I take that.
Look, if we're top 10 in turnovers, I would say for sure that's a win because I think the offense is going to be better and take advantage of more. I mean, you had 38 turnovers. I don't know what our percentage was. I want to get to this last one before I do, but if I could find it real quick. On plays that the Bears capitalized on off of that. I would say you're probably sub 50%.
Yeah, I think because I remember while you looking that up, I remember we getting a lot of turnovers and then we would try to go for the home run shot and it would be, null and void and we end up going 3 and out because we end up running it on second down. So we did lead the league in turnover takeaways.
Yeah.
But like you said, we weren't very efficient with it at all.
I'm trying to see here.
I have to go turnover efficiency. Where's the stat man JC when you need him?
He ain't been a stat man in a long time.
I know that was a good shot though.
Bears turnover efficiency last season. Let's see. Bears at 20. I mean, that's just showing me all of their turnovers. I'm trying to see how many they turned into touchdowns. Either way, I'll look that up while I ask you this final question on Shot or No Shot in chat. Y'all chime in on this as well. Listen, the one thing that we've heard about consistently throughout OTAs, throughout minicamp, is the relationship between Caleb Williams and Luther Burden. It seems like those two have been locked in pretty consistently no matter what. Every day you're hearing about some big catch from Luther Burden. Shot or no shot, Luther Burden will overtake Rome Odunze as the number one wide receiver on this team.
We had a conversation about this back, and I said, why can't they be like Cincinnati and be 1A, 1B? But I definitely say shot that he could be the number one guy, because if you look at last year, Luther didn't even know where to be at and what routes to run most of the time. And
it took him a long time to lock in.
And he made some great catches. He was definitely consistent when the ball did get in this area for him catching the ball. He didn't have a lot of drops. And I didn't think that if he now knows where he's supposed to be at, he could, if he stays healthy, he definitely could be better than Rome. Because honestly, Luther was supposed to be a first round pick. He might not have. He might not was supposed to go 12. I think Luther went 12, right? I mean,
Luther went in the Rome went 10th, and right. Luther went in the second round.
Right? Yeah, I don't know if Luther was supposed to be taken as high as 10, but I think with him now knowing the offense, I definitely think that he could be number one. But I say why we have to have 1 versus 2? Why can't we have like Chase and old boy in Cincinnati? Where it's 1 and 1A?
Well, I think what's going to be interesting to see for this Bears team is, are any of y'all going to be the number one option? You know what I mean? Like, Hayes showed up for 5 seconds and distracted.
Right.
Drew dressed like his wife gave him a black eye. It's crazy.
Hey, it's right. He got off the phone before we went in.
He was on here right before.
Right. Go ahead,
but no, the to me, dang, you made me lose my train of thought. You made me lose my train of thought. What was we talking about?
Luther.
Oh, Luther. To me,
number one receiver.
I think it's a shot just because I think that the talent is there. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I think it's going to be interesting to see if anybody's the number one option, though. Like, to me, I think Colston Loveland's your number one option. I think that you are about to see Ben Johnson unlock the next Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, John Elway, Shannon Sharp. How far back you want me to go when we know that this has been the combination that has worked for years? So, like, when you have a tactician like what Colston Loveland is, I kind of look at everyone else as the other option, and I wonder how long Luther's going to be okay with that, because I think he's got that talent. I think he's elite. But I do look at this Bears offense coming into this season and saying, yeah, you might be the number one receiver, but that's number 2 to everything that Colston Loveland is doing.
So I could definitely understand that, but I'm looking at it like this. It depends. To me, the number one option is going to depend on matchup. So if you're going against one team that has weak linebackers and coverage, we're going to feast down the middle of the field with our tight ends.
100%.
If you got some rookie cornerback that doesn't have good hips, that's able to turn and burn with our fast receivers, I think we're going to be going all the way throwing a lot of, slants, fades, and using our, wide receiver speed. So for me, I think it's going to go week by week, who's going to be the number one guy, depending upon the matchups of the defensive players we're going against.
Yeah.
So one day it might be Colston. One day it might be Luther. One day it might be Rome. I think Ben Johnson doesn't have a defined role for his offensive team right now that everybody's going to eat.
I think that's going to be the conversation for Luther. I think that's going to be the conversation for Rome. I think every week is going to be Colston.
Really?
I just do. Colston feels.
I love Colston.
This is the kind of player that I think Colston Loveland showed that he can be last year, and it feels weird. And there's only one other player to compare it to, unfortunately. And he may not show this. He may not. It may prove me wrong completely. But Colston Loveland just found himself open. Like, you would just look down the field and you just be like, how the heck they lose a 6'7" dude? I've only said that about one other player, and it was Travis Kelce. He's the only other player I ever went, how the heck did y'all lose that 6'7" dude in the corner of the end zone wide open?
But my only issue in that particular is that you got a fluid offensive system. And when Ben was in Detroit, he had Laporta. Laporta ate, don't get me wrong, but so did Jahmyr Gibbs. So did Montgomery. So did what was that other wide receiver? The short dude. Amon-Ra St. Brown
was the face.
Like literally, they all ate.
But I tell you this,
and I'm not gonna say Colston is not as good as Laporta, but to me, Ben Johnson just lets if you got an offensive skill, Ben Johnson gonna give you the opportunity to eat. So I don't think it's gonna be focused on one player anytime. But I definitely understand you.
Who's the best receiver though? And
who's got the best hands?
Who's the best? Yeah, the best hands.
Who's got the best hands?
In Detroit?
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
Best hands, yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown get the ball more times than not. Usually he's utilized pretty heavily week in and week out. I think that's Colston Loveland. I think you're talking about Colston Loveland being like if you gave me a option, Sam Laporta or Colston Loveland. Like it's not even close. Like I think Colston Loveland could be a top 5 tight end in football this year.
See, my only problem with that is I love Colston. I love his ability to get open. But if you want this explosive offense, you got to get the wide receivers because Colston did take a few, touchdowns up the middle, was able to take it to the house, but those big emotional changing plays, they always go to the wide receiver. So for me, I think it's going to be, not dink and dunk, but we're going to coasting, boom to Luther over the top.
But I mean, we watched that with the
Thomas in the mini camp.
Yeah,
in the corner with that.
But we watched that with the Kansas City Chiefs. We watched a team that literally went. The guy who's getting all the big plays is Travis Kelce had a 1,400-yard, 11-touchdown season.
He did.
You know what I mean? Like, we've watched that happen, and those are the teams that usually end up winning championships. And the rest of the guys are great, right? You feel good about the receivers that are on those teams as well. You don't diminish them, right? You had Tyreek Hill on that team, right? And Tyreek Hill was kind of the focal point. But there was a reason that they told Tyreek Hill, hey, like, we appreciate you playing the work version of this game. You enjoy Miami. We're going to keep winning rings out here.
I know, but that came down to the money. Right now, for us,
it did. And he didn't want to leave. I think that's the funniest part about it, too.
Right, because he wanted to come back. So for me, I think that, we have a 3-headed monster right now that, even potentially 4, because we're forgetting about Cole Kmet, who went from stone hands to a quality tight end.
Yeah.
So we actually have a plethora of.
You got plenty of options
because we didn't even mention Swift out the backfield either. Yep. So but the question of shot or no shot, we have Luther.
Is Luther the number one? I think we agree with that. I agree. Luther might be the number one.
Yeah.
Shot.
Yeah, definitely could be number shot. Definitely he could be number one.
Because what I want Rome to be is what he was in college, a big body possession wide receiver that had great speed. That is Jamison Williams. That is T. Higgins. That is
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
He ain't got no shot to be Larry Fitzgerald. I'm sorry.
You never know. He could.
Larry Fitzgerald. I think
Anquan Bolden. Would you say
Larry Fitz dropped 3 passes in his career.
Oh my. Be positive, bro. Be positive.
That's a different conversation. There's certain wide receivers I'm willing to have a conversation on Rome being. Larry Fitz ain't one of them, bro. Larry Fitz was ridiculous. Larry Fitz was so good, we knew who he was before Arizona was good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I remember one of the first games, Larry. I was like, man, this guy got stick him on his hands. What
bro.
He was running, all of a sudden, boom, and was gone. Like, what is this?
They said, I think it was Waddle told me, he said, Larry Fitzgerald when the ball hit his hands, it sounds like you threw it into a blanket.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Like, he was like, the ball shouldn't make a lot of sound, like, even if you're a mediocre wide receiver in the NFL. When you hear the ball hit Waddle hands, even today, if you throw the football with him, like, it doesn't make a sound. It's very weird. Meanwhile, the ball hit my hands, and, like, I try to grab it with my fingertips, but, like, pink. You know what I mean? Because I'm not an NFL wide receiver. But they said it was like throwing it into a blanket. Like, he just, poof. Look, Crimson said Fitz couldn't save Kyler Murray. But will Justin Jefferson be able to? That is the question on the table.
Oh man, I'm real talk though. JJ is still putting up a fight though. I don't know if he's gonna win.
JJ McCarthy lost that job, bro.
No, he still put up a fight though.
Yeah, he lost it. Hey, look, he fight. You know when you think you in the fight, right? Like he put up a fight like Portland in the first round last year, right? Like that was a very competitive series.
Yeah.
And you looked up and Wemby averaged 30 and freaking it was a 4-1 series and it really wasn't as competitive as you thought. And there were like loud moments, but really it was pretty much over. Like JJ McCarthy is cooked. Like,
hopefully not though. Hopefully
pack him up. Get them up out of there. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to show love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. For Mr. Drew Better, if you knew better, you do better. Say, who better? Nobody, bro. It is your boy, Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. Peace.
Red Nation, are we here?
Hey, man.
The best show for Chicago sports.
Bro, look, I ain't even gonna start dreaming about me on CHSN.
Why not? You gotta shoot for the moon.
You do gotta shoot for the moon. At a minimum, I land in the stars. Exactly. I would love to go to CHSN, but
hey, man, like I said, because y'all used to do, man. You used to do the live calls.
I usually do play-by-play though. I don't know how I would be as a color guy.
I think you would be well. No, you have a good TV
I wouldn't
presence.
be mad at it.
Dude, we want Fox, Channel 5. I
wouldn't be mad at it. It'd be a lot of fun.
I think you can do it.
It'd be a lot of fun.
JJ McCarthy and Pete Will.
It's nasty. I might take P. Will.
You might take Pete Will.
JJ McCarthy and P. Will, bro. I might take P. Will.
Hey, that's bad.
That's a comment. That's nasty, bro.
Yeah, that's bad. Baki.